That's me. It's crazy. This is my first speech I've ever given. I also did not know I was going to be up here about an hour ago. So, yeah, thank you, Jack and Leslie, for having me. All right, so I took applause or clap if you remember the Great American Eclipse last year. All right, it's a good amount of people, considering there's everyone around the world here, but you at least heard of it probably. So I'm an astronomy photographer. That's my main passion. As an astronomy photographer, I'm always trying to get people to see a cosmic perspective of the world, to see the world as one, from an outside view. It humbles us. So I've always wanted to photograph a total solar eclipse where the moon goes fully in front of the sun perfectly, and the entire day sky goes completely dark. I've envisioned it since 7th grade when my geography teacher told us about it. And I ran home and I said, Mom and Dad, have you heard? Have you seen a total eclipse? And they're like, no. And I'm, how? Why? And so I knew of this eclipse coming up August 21st, 2017 for many years. But as a professional photographer, what do you do? Where do you go for this once-in-a-lifetime moment? And this also was the most photographed moment in human history. It's a lot of pressure as a photographer. But I'm also a pilot. I've been flying powered hang gliders for about 10 years because I love to see the Earth from high up above. And so with those passions merged together, I thought, I wonder if you can get up high enough, can you see the moon's shadow moving across the Earth at 2,000 miles per hour? Selfishly, I just wanted to see that. I wanted to witness that. And as a photographer, I wondered, can I actually capture this so that other people can experience this fleeting, most beautiful moment? And it happened. I've never unveiled this photo publicly. I was waiting until the 1-year anniversary on August 21st in 3 weeks, but 1 hour ago, Jack said, you need to show that up here. Could not have imagined this would be happening. So anyway, back to the story. I was very determined. I applied for all these different contests. I was trying my best. I couldn't afford a private jet, to do this. So I looked at all the flights around the country and looked at the departure times and everything. And as a sport pilot, I had a little bit of experience doing that. And I looked at all the flight paths around the US and compared them to the moon's shadow. And I was pulling my hair out. I thought, this is not going to work out. I found one flight on Southwest Airlines that was leaving from Portland, Oregon to St. Louis, Missouri. And my dad was born in St. Louis. I've always wanted to go there. My dad passed away 5 years ago. And my nephew, my dad's grandson, lives in Portland. I thought, it's meant to be. There's literally one seat left. I booked the flight. This is 3 days before the eclipse. I live in Manhattan, nowhere near totality. So now the day before the eclipse, the biggest travel day in history, I had to fly across the country to Oregon. So I go to Oregon. And the day before the eclipse, the biggest thing I'm nervous about is Southwest Airlines. There's no assigned seating. I need a window seat. Also, I need a window seat that's up front, so the wing's not in the way of the shot. All our odds are against me, and this is just a normal flight. So I thought, okay, I tried to check in as early as I could. I got Group C, seat 18. And I'm like, I'm glad you guys understand how awful that is. I'm like, I'm not even gonna get a window seat. So I brought $600 cash with me, ready to bribe somebody for their window seat. I mean, I've come this far, right? You gotta do what you can. So I get to the gate, and I have all the gear ready. I've practiced for a long time, and there's this other flight that I applied for their contest, and it's leaving out of the same gate right next to mine, and I worked so hard to win this contest, and I lost, and there they are, big red carpet event and all this, and I get to my gate, and it's 25 minutes delayed. And I'm like, okay. Finally, somebody comes onto the PA system, and she says, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just looking at the clock. I got to rush this story. I'm sorry. This is my first time doing this, so. Anyway, somebody comes on the intercom to announcing our gate. Thank you so much for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason why we've delayed your flight today. As most of you have heard by now, there's a very historic moment happening in our country. A total solar eclipse for the first time in 99 years is going from coast to coast. And these three gentlemen standing next to me here are three representatives from Southwest that flew out here from our headquarters in Dallas to be on this flight with us today. They brought eclipse glasses with them. All the drinks on the flight are eclipse-themed drinks, like a Bloody Mary's, a solar flare, and they're all free for the flight. And we deliberately delayed the flight just in time to be right in the 100% totality zone. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Now I have to meet these representatives from Southwest, right? So I get all my camera gear out of my bags, to show I'm legit. I know what I'm doing, and I walk up to them. I'm wearing a NASA t-shirt, and I tell them my whole story. And I said, I flew across the country last night to be on this flight. And they're like, what? And I showed them some of my photographs, my astronomy photos, and they said, those are your photographs? I said, yeah, and you were supposed to be on that flight, but you're on ours instead? I said, yeah. They go, come with us. I'm the first one on the plane. They introduced me to the whole flight crew, the captain, the first officer, everybody, and I collaborate with the captain. I told him I want to make it look like we're in space, but the only way to do that is shooting through this little window. I need to get a 180-degree view, so I need to do a photographic mosaic and get a 180-degree view. Is there any way you could kind of turn the plane around? That's exactly what he said. And he's kind of rolling his eyes. This is obviously an absurd request. And he said, well, I would have to get approval by the FAA, yada, yada. So we climb up, we go to 35,000 feet. He does this practice turn. It's not good enough. The eclipse is getting all warped in the image. The flight attendant sitting right in front of me gets a call from the captain saying, John, how was that? So I'm like, actually, it wasn't steep enough. He said it has to be a wider turn, So he ended up doing, if you could go to the next slide, or the flight plan, he did 5 180-degree turns. And I can't get into all the details, obviously, I'm already over time, but for the first time ever, I've been working on this image for 11 months straight. I've spent hundreds of hours on it. I can't even explain how much work went into it. For the first time ever, I'm titling it. It's a long story why it's titled this, but I want to show you all 108. Stop cheering, otherwise I'm not going to be able to talk because I'm like really emotional right now. I should just walk off now because, Anyway, I just told Jack this story about an hour ago. And I said, your opening the other day on Tuesday, his 90-minute opening, and talking about oneness, connectedness, is exactly why I created this and worked so hard for it. I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional. This is insane. This was one of the most uniting moments in United States history. For one day, every news media outlet you can think of, ABC, NBC, CBS, even Fox News. So glad you laughed. For one day, every news network covered a positive story. For one day, everything was positive. And it's very simple why. For a brief moment in time, everyone in America became an astronomer. That's as simple as it is. That's what astronomy does. It's instilled in our DNA. It's who we are. Our ancestors for thousands of generations have looked up at the stars and wondered, what is this? Who are we? What are we? Why are we here? But now we have, in just the last 100 years or so, we have electricity, so we have too much light pollution. We don't get to see that every day. In this moment, the director of astrovisualization at the American Museum of Natural History just called this image the ladder to space. He said, in many ways, this is better than images we take from space, which I can't process fully. because you can appreciate, this is 39,000 feet. We all fly at that altitude. But you can appreciate the detail of the Earth's surface and see how close space really is. We are in space. We're on spaceship Earth. And we need to take care of our planet because the only thing keeping us alive is that little thin blue line in our atmosphere. I can't tell you how much work it took to convey this. That little thin blue line is what's keeping us alive, and we need to take care of our planet. And we're all one. We're all connected. And the world, if you keep on viewing the world as a small little pale blue dot, as Carl Sagan would say, it humbles you. We all could use an ego check and take care of each other. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you. Oh, please.
These are the type of people we work with. He's been a partner with us for 4 years, and the humility, the emotion, the humanness, the curiosity, the life expressed just in the past 10 minutes is exactly who we serve, but also we get a chance to work with every single day.